build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance.
Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
Hello, I'm Colin.
How's it going, Colin? Happy Father's Day to you. Happy Father's Day to listeners who are listening on Father's Day. Subscribers.
I was going to say, there'll be many the time we put this out since I've been asking a delay to the recording the day.
That's true. I got a card for, obviously, can get cards for the parents, and Sophie bought one for me. She picked herself because she thought it looked like me. Mm-hmm. You can see this on YouTube, but it kind of comes up quite good. Happy birthday to the Queen of Grandmas, and she scored out of Grandmas and put Dad's. So it's a happy birthday card.
Good. I've
Father's
got
Day.
one. You can see mine. So you need to look at that on YouTube if you want to see, but it's effectively saying, you want to read?
It says, Dad, a few words to describe you. Wonderful, awesome. Oh, I've just lost Colin's video. There he goes back in. Wonderful, awesome, nice, kind, easygoing, remarkable. And oh, would you look at that, an acronym? I totally did not see that until now.
That's what I get thought of. That's how much I'm thought of.
Very good. Anyway, how are you feeling? You have a good night last night?
Had a good night. I'm too old, mate. Too old. I had a good day, but I did have quite a lot to drink. I was going to say I didn't even have that much to drink, but I did, and I was out for 13, 14 hours or something on it. So it all adds up over the course of 14 hours. So we done the pre-match thing at Easter Road before the Proclaimers last night in the Lance.
How was it?
It was really good. The pre-match thing was good. It was a bit. It was like an afternoon tea and a cocktail, but it's a cocktail, right? So it was gin and bitter lemon or a whiskey and ginger beer was your cocktail basically when you arrived. It was nice. I had the whiskey and ginger beer based on the recommendation to
it's good,
Greg the last time. But it was nice. And then the afternoon tea was just like a help yourself, all you can eat almost buffet thing, rather than having a traditional sandwiches, scones and cakes on a tray thing. It was what they are. Just go and help yourself. So it was back and forward, coffee and tea, and that was great.
Nice one. Did you get the Scotland game as well when you were there?
You could have. That went on at 5 o'clock. And we left. We went down to a couple of friends that stayed down near Leith, near the Links, and went to their house and sat in the garden for a bit. And they watched the last 15 minutes actually on they put on at 1-0 and went, it's 1-0, and then pretty much the 2 goals. So I think I only caught the bit that was worth watching.
By
what I've read since.
But it was a funny one. We watched the game, and it's like a sort of fairly typical Scotland performance with every cunt moaning about how negative we were, how we never looked like scoring, how it was on Norway.
There's a group chat with him. I hadn't looked at it yesterday, and I came into it this morning to 200 odd messages, and I'm scrolling down it, and it was or up at whatever way you look at it, and it was going about how negative Clark is, and this is shite, and like Leon and that try to defend that like he does no matter what. Leon is always Mr. Supportive in that, and then it just flipped when the goals started going in. It was quite funny. It's like one of the old Hibs.net threads, matchday threads of the old days, given it was like, this is fucking shite.
Aye, and yes. I'd gone to the toilet when we equalised. It was like I had to nip out to pick up my daughter. I was like, well, I'll see as much of the game as I can. Only a couple of minutes to go. The equaliser went in. Time I'd gone for a pee. The winner had gone in. I was like, fucking hell, I've got another goal. So I kind of run back through to see it. We were talking about that, weren't we? We were talking about missing goals, and you think you go to the toilet when you think it's safe.
It was it the West Ham game the other week?
Aye.
We were talking about it.
Yeah. Some result for Scotland. You think that's got to be as safe for qualifying now, you would think?
I've not done the sums, but I think we're 8 points ahead in Norway.
Norway. Aye. Can be. It is 8 points. They said on the radio.
And there's only 5 games to go or something.
So unless it's a total collapse, we should be.
I don't know. Is it the top 2 go through though?
don't know.
Because Spain we've still got to go to Spain. So,
It feels like the sort of thing we should know, but I very rarely pay attention to the fucking ins and outs of things. Normally, if it involves Hibs, okay. We've said this before. It's funny, I was talking to somebody, one of our listeners, about Longbangers over the weekend, and they sort of said it's good because you are two normal, in inverted commas, football fans. You didn't really ken that much about what you're talking about, but you just like talking about it, and that's like, because we didn't that's kind of we've set our stall out early doors for Longbangers to say we're no experts by any stretch of the imagination. So
that's good. If we take that as a backhanded compliment,
I took it as a call. I definitely took it as a positive, 100% claiming that. Definitely.
I just had a bit of feedback, just in the last 15 minutes, and it's for the baker's dad, who says that I swear too much. So I apologise. I didn't even realise I'm doing it. So I need to watch out for that. I think we swear too much, but I definitely swear more than you.
I think so.
But that's what I've been told. So
I would have put me down as more swearer than you, but there you go.
I didn't even realise I'm doing it. That's a bad thing.
It's a bad thing.
I don't know, because I must switch it off at work and that and stuff like that. So I'm maybe to watch what I'm doing here.
Didn't change. It's good to be relaxed. It's like it's just normal chatting it. So good weekend for the football. Good result for Scotland, and it's amazing the difference in mood when Scotland win. Do you know, like even Twitter, which is normally just like a fucking pain in the arse, apart from if you're lucky and you follow good folk. Even Twitter was in a good mood last night. So nice to see everybody happy anyway, and it was good to have a bit of football with the season happening as well.
It's Tuesday, Is it Tuesday night?
I think so. I think there's a game on now. Is it the international? What they call it? International League final? Spain against Croatia, maybe.
Europa League.
Aye, is it? Fuck, I can't remember the name of it. Like I said,
didn't pay attention.
Nations League, that's it. It's on Channel 4. On the now, so you'll catch the end of that when we finish recording. Right, we'll go into the Hibs stuff. Let's get talking about that. But just before we do, topic for extra time for subscribers this week is on veteran signings. We signed Adam Lefondre, and we'll talk about him in a wee minute. This week at the age of 36, I think he'll be 37 as the season plays out. He joins a long list of veteran players that we've signed over the years, so we'll kind of delve into the old age archives in extra time and talk about some of our best ones that we've had, but probably some of the worst ones as well, because they've not all been roaring successes. But before we talk about signings, Colin, exciting time of the year for a lot of folk. Kit release week day happened last week. What did you think of the strip?
I like it this year. I think it's quite smart. I look for one about the sponsor. I don't know. A couple of my daughters moaned about it, but not because I think it says Bevy, but because it's like a QR code, I think. Is that what they're moaning about? I'm not really sure what fuck they're moaning about. But I like it. I think it's nice.
What do you think of the Bevy thing? Right, so that caused a bit of debate. There was a thread shut on Hibs.net about it because folk were arguing, I think, or moaning about folk moaning.
Right.
That kind of thing. We've obviously had alcohol sponsors before, would stepped away for the betting sponsors, but then sort of sneaked one in. I can't remember the name of this shows how successful the marketing is. Can't remember the name of the betting company that we ended up with. But Hibs seemed to we went Community Foundation, the Thank You NHS, and then Utilita, wasn't it, that came in after them? But we've always had like Eden Mills in the back. Whiskey Row, yeah. You got any strong feelings of the Bevy?
Nah, I've no. And actually, I think it's the name that kind of is folk. You know what? I don't even know. Are folk moaning because it's Bevy and then it's alcohol? Because actually, when I've looked at it, it's an app that you scan a fucking bottle of whiskey and find out what's in it.
Aye, how much it costs.
Which I can't really see how you make money out of that either. Like, but obviously they must. It's a business, I suppose. But then again, I see folk will getting worked up. I've seen some comments like, I hope they've done their due diligence in that. And you, why? If somebody's getting you money for that, and do you? Like, I get the due diligence part on the claim. I suppose if it's like coming for, if it's dirty money or if it's money laundering or something, but if it's just like a company what sponsor you, if they go bust like Terry Healy did, then it's not tarring your name. All you do is change the sponsor then.
Yeah. Well, we had our fingers burnt with Sportum on Go.
Oh,
careful with how you say that, mind, because they ended up being a bit on the dodgy side. I think that's how they went, wasn't it? There was folk looked up their accounts and everything. That blew my mind. Like, why would you do that? I just like look at a sponsor and go, okay, what I'm going to do is going to go into company's house and have a look and see what the accounts were all about.
Do give a shit over the pre-season or the close season, where I don't. I just so it's almost one of them. Like, I've got nothing today about Hibs. I've nothing to talk about, so I'm going to go and interrogate the accounts company to try and not even as an accountant. So how would you even know what it means?
I would never clue where I was starting with, to be honest.
I've been in finance for like nearly 30 years, like, and I still don't know what a balance sheet really is.
No. So, well, I think they also are behind the sticker company. Do you know I forgot the name of them as well.
Fan stickers, is it?
Fan stickers, something like that. Yeah, they inadvertently leaked the kit, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get the first glimpse of it because it was sort of leaked on the new range of stickers that they had. But I believe the folk who are on that are also the folk that are involved with Bevy. Mm-hmm. So at least Hibs have got a bit of a track record of having worked with them. And it's meant to be a record.
The kit's smart though.
Aye, the kit is smart, and it's meant to be a record-breaking deal for the club as well, which is going to be a good thing, you would think.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. No, that I want to kind of go into too much detail, but that's sort of where does the moral responsibility end or start with things like sponsors, for things like gambling companies and alcohol companies. Because you have that thing about, right, they obviously have an impact, and they definitely do have an impact on society and on people's health. But at the same time, lots of people do these things in moderation, enjoy it. Like, can you just talk to me? You're drinking for 14 hours yesterday. And, it's not done you. Well, America it's arguable, right? But it's not done you any harm.
Well, tell me that a couple of years ago when I was lying on the couch.
But that kind of thing where folk can enjoy a drink, and is it up to football clubs to sort of be the moral arbiter of whether you should advertise it or not? It's a difficult one.
But football seems to get dragged into that all the time. It's the same with minute silences and all that.
Mm.
And there's all in the poppies and the strips and clapping, minutes applauses for like some like the other sporting events didn't really seem to bother. Like, it doesn't matter if they do it or no, but if football didn't do it, it's like outrage. And I don't know why football's like got to be the moral guardian of the population. Like,
well, look at.
I mean, I get the betting thing to some extent. I get that. Oh, I mean, we've had the conversation before, because the sponsors for this and stuff, and adverts that we put out and all that, and you go, well, where do you draw the line? Like, where do we draw the line? On what, like, oh, we didn't want a gambling company involved. Right? Well, do the alcohol though, because that's got an impact on people's life. And then, all right, well, what about, how far do you start drawing the line?
And it's true. I mean, it was just like in the last couple of months, we got offered some good money for getting involved with a betting company to sponsor, and because of the stuff that we do with mental health, and I suppose it was a wee bit different. It felt it'd be the wrong thing to do for us, so we knocked it back. And normally we're not very fussy about things, but it seems like the right thing to do. And I get it for Hibs if it's a record-breaking deal. I think drink's slightly different to the gambling as well. But then you look at like fucking horse racings. That's awesome. All that's built around is gambling. Like the whole industry is on gambling, and nobody's
That's why the horses race. They're not racing for any other reason than because there's bets on it.
Aye, there's money on it. So, I think football clubs do get held to a higher standard, and it's not always right. I totally understand the view, and like I say, we've been in a position where we've had to make that sort of call and stepped away from it. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's the right thing or the wrong thing, though.
Aye.
Anyway, smart. The strip is smart. The QR code thing is like another first for the club. They were sort of trumpeting it. And the idea is, what you just take a photo of your t-shirt when you're wearing it. Like, fuck, I want to see his camera pointing at his gut. Like, I can try to like straighten out the top and everything, or you might photo somebody else's. They said it's going to be make the season more interactive for the support, isn't it? That was the idea, that gives you different experiences and inverted commas. You all about that?
There's this match day experience we're back on it.
I think so.
You can scan you've got to scan the barcode on your strip and it'll put something on your phone for you, is that what I think? Right.
Because they could do things like, do you know when you go to hospitality, they guess the score competition? They could have things like that, I suppose, that would be, or a man in a match, you could be scan on and pick all that kind of stuff, which I suppose would be interesting to some. Anyway, is there a particular colour you fancy for the away strip or the third one? What would you like to see?
I like
big butts and I cannot lie. Sorry.
No, I like the straight reverse. I always like that. But then you end up, because we'll probably need a third strip anyway, because if we're in Europe, they always bring a third strip out, usually after we're out of Europe, and say this was the European strip. But Celtic games, it fucks it, because they're not allowed to wear the strips against each other. So, but I think just basically white and green rather than green and white.
Mm-hmm.
For me, there was one Hibs retro posted last week, an old Umbro one.
Oh, that was quality, wasn't it?
See if they remade that as a retro one and stuck in the club shop, because they do have 3 or 4 of them in there. You know, the N-Save one, and then just the plain, the old sort of mere, not the shiny strips, you know, the sort of rough, rugged material that they used to be and all that kind of stuff. They've got a couple of them in the shop, and they're quite smart. I like the retro ones. But if that one was to go in, because I think they've got a purple and green one as well, haven't they? But it's generally home strips they remake, but that away one, the Umbro white one with the green and the
diamonds,
diamonds, that's smart as anything. And then it's like that, because the other really smart one was the reverse of the Frank Graham, the Scottish, the Skull Cup one. The reverse of that's really, really smart as well. So they're all my favourite ones, the white.
I quite like the aliens, like sort of Tam McManus either. There was a yellow one, but apparently that was brutal on the nipples. Apparently that. No, I think that's the same one in McLeish era. There was a yellow one, and it was sort of again like a sort of rougher material. Must have been like Cocksport teeth, I think, that we would have had for that one. But I quite like that. I mean, it must be due a yellow in. I had that sort of third kit a while back. The Sunshine and Leith one, that was a third one, but they hardly ever wore it. I think they wore it once.
Oh, so I like the white. I think, when was the last time I had the white one? Has that been recent?
2 seasons ago, we had the pinstripe one, the pinstripes.
So we did.
But that was quality as well, quite retro style. Yeah. I will see how much when they'll release them, but
the white one always get enough time. The green one comes out on Friday.
Aye.
Because it's time for the school holidays, I guess. That's the way they try and do it. The white one's usually about a month later, isn't it? Middle of July.
Aye. Okay, right. Signings. Adam Lefondre signed, so 36-year-olds signed from Melbourne, was it?
I don't know.
So what? I had that in my head earlier on, and I could remember it, and then just as I was about to say it, I was like, was it Melbourne or was it Sydney?
I've heard them, so that's one thing. I don't know why I've heard them, but I definitely have heard his name before.
Do you know, you would probably been a private member on Hibsnet at the time. He was one of these players that was never properly linked with us, but folk suggested that we signed him. I think like he'd been talked about as a potential signing for fucking years and years and years and years, and then it never happened. And
I've
then
not been a private member since 2010. So
well, that's
I don't
probably
know.
about right, given his
Yeah.
age. And I think he was like a wonder kid on Football Manager. Hibs sort of did that
Oh, they
on
mentioned something about that.
on the review, didn't they, with Football Manager? And I think he was like one of these players that if you got him in your team, you were fucking laughing.
Yeah.
He certainly seems to know where the goal is. Josh said a stat to me earlier on. I think he's got the fourth highest goals to minutes ratio in English Premiership history, which is no bad going.
Who did he play for in the Premiership? I'm kidding either. Sorry, stop asking hard questions.
Aye, well, look up his career. Well, we're here. I should have probably done this before. I thought we would be.
Well, we're probably doing that in extra time,
I know, and he gets called Alf, obviously ALF.
Aye.
Right. Let's see who he's played for. Right, Stockport, Rochdale, Rotherham, Reading, Cardiff, Bolton, Wolves, Wigan, Bolton, Sydney, and in between that, he's on loan at Mumbai City. And then we signed for Hibs. So, interestingly, inverted commas again, his signing interview with Hibs, and he talked about getting a text with Brian McDermott, who he knew from Reading, just sort of saying, how's it going? And then they had a bit of back and forward, and he says, what's your situation at the end of the season? And that's how the move came about. They sort of took it for there. So, first sign.
So McDermott's getting the blame for it, is he?
Well, or the credit.
Oh,
I was going with the credit, Colin. If you're going, that's glass half full, half empty things here, isn't it?
Well, still, come on, we're going to start with saying he's got to be shite, and then we're going to wait and see once he proves us wrong. That's how it works. I've seen it. That's how it happens. You make your mind up early doors, and then you bank on yourself being right. But you've got to say you're banking on him being good then. But then you've got to get in the conversations with the folk, the majority that's got to immediately say, it's no fucking Football Manager. Yeah.
I know. Well, he's there's a poster called Forza Fred. I think it's one of the Australian Hibs fans, or a Hibs fan that lives in Australia, who posted on Hibs Net a big sort of post about I've been watching him for however long, and this is what you're going to get. And it was all very encouraging. And I think from Forza Fred's previous post, I think he kens what he's talking about. So that was probably like the good sign for me. His interview came across well, but I mean, you can't really tell too much. He looked in good condition. And I would be surprised, Colin, if we're going to be relying on him as a sort of starter every week, given his age.
Yeah.
Would you think?
At the moment, he'll be a starter because we've not signed anybody else. So if we pick a team tomorrow, the back at pre-season starts this week, does it?
They're back on. I can't remember if it was Thursday they were back.
Midweek.
And then they're away to Spain. Aye.
That's like no time at all, eh?
Well, my neighbour, he's been back since last week. They've been back training at Raith. Aye,
really?
Even quicker back. So
get any time off? Their season finished a lot earlier, though, didn't it? Because he won in the playoffs training.
It leaves us right. So our strikers now, who've we got? We've got Melkerson. Doige technically back was right. So Melkerson and Doige, whether or not they'll actually be here when the season starts, is another thing. Johan, McCurdy, Boyle. Yeah. If you're taking Boyle as a striker, Dan Mackay, he'd be one of the forward players as well.
Aye, so we say forwards now rather than strikers. The Boyle's still got to be injured though, isn't he? So
I think he's back for pre-season. I think that's sort of the talk that he should be ready for the start of the season.
Okay, we'll see. I'm thinking that if you're picking a starting team, he's probably in it at the moment.
Aye.
Because based on the names you just read to me, I can't see who's going to start ahead of him. Obviously, Johan.
Yeah.
And Boyle if he's fit.
Which I could be Melkerson. Just he got called up for the Norwegian under-21 side, which surprised me. But then I was like, under-21, he's still a young laddie, eh? Do you think he's worth keeping? Because we've got him on a good contract. Is he worth persevering with or not?
I don't know, because he did show a flash one day of what he had. But I mean, what have we now? Probably 18 months since that happened.
Aye.
And he's done nothing since, and he's done nothing when he went on loan. And by all accounts, he wanted to go away on loan. So it might not be, well, it might not be up to us. It will be up to us because we've got him on a long deal, but you must like football, eh? The players dictate.
Aye.
So I wonder if it's really up to us if he wants to just go again, because he's thought, I'm not getting a chance there. I'll go have a crack somewhere in the Norwegian league or something.
Aye. It's a shame. I've always had high hopes for Belkis, and I think I find it quite difficult to let go of these things. Like, see when there's a wee glimmer, you think, maybe if we just give him another season, develop this season,
and he's not even give the glimmer.
Aye, that's true. It's true.
There's so loads of folk. I've heard that even the other podcasts and that have said, "Oh, Ken, if he just gets a goal," and I've read it.
You always get that with strikers, though. Strikers are always, if once they get a goal, that'll be them off and running.
Yeah.
They can how often it's actually the case.
I'm not sure about him, but anyway.
Aye, and the other bit of transfer news was about kylemagennis. It looks like he's going to sign for Kilmarnock.
Aye.
Think about that.
Thing is, he has played, he's definitely been good, but he's just not played anywhere near often enough. And I think you can keep. It's just risk reward, and the risk's too high for the reward, basically. So I can totally see why they would want rid, and you could probably see why Kilmarnock would chance it, because they're getting on the face of a player that's far too good for them.
Mm-hmm.
But if he doesn't play, then they're worse off because they're paying his wages. But if he does play, they're fucking miles, improve their squad. So, whereas for us, I don't know if he's still good, but is he? How far ahead is he as your best player? Like he's in the mix when he's playing regularly, but he's no streets ahead. Where he'll become our next best player by a mile, I think. Unless I'm being unfair on somebody. So I can see why they would chance it, and I can see why he probably thinks a fresh start. But I mean, he said, was it 3 seasons? He's been here, and he's lucky if he's played 30 games.
And it was a shame. I thought when we signed him, right, obviously he was coming off the back of an injury. When we signed him, I thought we were picking up a player that had the potential to go and have a career like John McGinn had.
Well, that was at the top, because he came to the same place and all that.
Yeah. I think just like because he was captain of St Mirren, like at a young age.
Some players just are unlucky with injuries and they just never fulfil their potential. It just happens, and unfortunately, that's what happened to him with us. And I don't know what age he must be now, but he must be mid-20s now. Because he came to us as probably 21, 22.
Yeah, he was young when we signed him. But you're right, he'll be in his mid-20s now. And he needs to play, but I would question the wisdom of somebody with his injury record going to play for a team that's permanently on a Astro pitch. Like, it seems like a daft idea.
Aye, but then that depends on that again. Like, folks say that about the Astro and that, but they train on Astro. They're probably training on Astro most days and that as well, even at Hibs. Like, I mean, that's maybe not fair because they've just relayed 4 grass pitches doing it. East Mains, because I've seen them doing it over the last few weeks. Like, and they apparently rotate around the pitches, so it's always in good nick. But I mean, he's young enough that he's probably, as a laddie, played on Astro all the way through for 8-year-old. So he'll come what he's gone into. It's like they both do it all the time. I don't know if I've not read into it properly. I remember there being reports coming out about Astros and injuries, and folk would then say, you get the same number of injuries on the grass.
Well, I was just about to say that, like, McGuinness's record of avoiding injury on grass isn't great,
is it? Got to say, it might help him.
So you never know. If you're Lee Johnson, are you thinking that you need to replace him, or do you think the fact that he's missed that much football, he's almost been out of the equation anyway?
I don't think he's probably including him in the numbers, because how many games did he play for Johnson? 2 or 3, and then got sent off.
about that. It was like just
It
a
may be
handful.
more than that. But it wasn't. I don't think it was double figures, was it? So, and then when he got sent off, then he never. I think he ever came back. You know, he picked up another injury, and another injury. He's just one of these guys. So, he probably isn't thinking. He's probably already considered him as lost.
Aye, that's what I was thinking.
Do you know what I
Like,
mean? Rather than looking at it now, he's probably like January. Just thought, never see this boy. He'll be away in the summer if we can get rid.
aye, you just be kind of free up the wage, and you think, well, if we've not been able to rely on him for playing anyway, you could use that wage, just reduce your squad size. Same with McGeady. Like that, it's almost sort of looking at you didn't need a like for like, especially if you've got
probably on a good wage as well.
Aye, definitely. So I'm interested to see what moves come in. The team's away to Spain next week. I would think they'll try to get players in before they go.
Hope so.
To have the pre-season together. There's a couple of games there. I think we've got FC Europa and Brighton, I want to say, and then they announced a game down in Blackpool as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fancy going down to Blackpool. I fucking hate Blackpool. And I hate friendlies, but it's one of these ones that it sounds like it'd be a good day out there.
Because you hate the both things that you'd be going to and for.
Yeah. It's stupid, eh?
Yeah.
I said that there was like one of the WhatsApp groups saying we'll go down and that, and I think my reply was I fucking hate Blackpool, I fucking hate friendlies. And
when is it?
Well, are we going by bus or by train? Anyway, right. We'll talk about it next week. The friendlies come up when more news starts to come out. Easter Road with signings, etc. I did see there was a tweet going about the day that Lee Johnson was having talks with Leeds about their vacancy, but I would say there was a 99.9% chance that is complete made up bullshit in a similar vein to the World Cup.
Yes.
Yeah, which was a good laugh.
Talking about selling a bit of bother yesterday on that one. Must just be all these followers down south just going, what the fuck are you trying to... You might be a journalist. And he's going, aye, but they've got them tweeted to them. Like they just talk shite about any old shite.
Aye, it's pure nonsense. Brilliant. Right, send us in your ridiculous transfer rumours. We'll be quite happy to retweet them, all the rest of it. That's us out with time for tonight. If you're listening to this on Sunday, enjoy the rest of your Father's Day. If you're picking up on Monday, then hope your week's off to a good start, and we will see you next time.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee. I don't drink water, no.